So, continuing on with our series of examining each of the songs on our second album, Collision Course, by Fate and Crisis. We're going to talk about the song Heartfirst Overboard. This one doesn't have all that much interesting in terms of background or anything like that. I don't know if the stories on these ones aren't as good as the first ones, because those songs had percolated for a long time, with me. So there was more stories to talk about with those ones. With these ones, it's just new stuff I've written. So it's not as some of them aren't as juicy. The older ones I find, A Red Dawn, The Light That Hides From Your Eyes, World of Nothing, Plectrums. Those ones have a little bit more stories behind them because they've had a bit more time. But since these ones are brand new and I wrote them by myself, it's a little bit tougher to have grand stories about about all the stuff. Anyway, so a little bit about the background for this one, though. I remember writing this one in Saskatchewan in my mother-in-law's house, on the couch in front of the TV. I remember that. The main riff is actually a older riff from a song called Tears to Drown, which I couldn't get the riff to pop. It was getting muddled and swallowed up by the rhythms in that track. I tried to record that one before, but I couldn't get it to sound the way I wanted to. Also, the tempos were all fucked up, and at the time, I still hadn't quite gotten the grasp in Cubase for how to properly do tempos and make them flow right. Change the tempos, that is, which I can now, and I have done a bunch on this album, so that's pretty cool, and maybe I'll come back to that one at some point. But for Heartfirst, in this one, I had, in fact, I've taken the riff from Tears to Drown, moved it up to a higher strings, and then shifted the key to be in this key because it needed something, and I felt like I couldn't use the riff in that other song, and so this made it able to punch through a bit better. It's the second riff, not the first one, and that's the riff that's taken, but the rest of it is brand new. I came up first with the rhythms in the intro, which are the rhythms in the chorus. And I really love the really half-held, you don't quite hit the note on the unison bend in the intro and the choruses. I love doing that. I love unison bends. They're some of my favorite stuff. Unison bend and pinches are probably my favorite things to play on guitar. Absolutely love doing it. Bends too, I guess, but there's a lot of techniques on guitar. I found this song a lot harder to sing because A, it's in a key I'm not as strong at, but also it's there's less going on, especially in the verses. I've avoided doing basically drum and bass stuff, which is stuff I used to do a lot when I was just starting out, and I was really into Blink-182 and Sum 41. They kind of do that a lot. Green Day too. I wasn't as much into Green Day, but they do that a lot. So in the pop punk scene and all that stuff, but I've avoided doing it because I always felt like I wasn't strong enough to carry a song with just drums and bass. But this time I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a shot. I think it worked out pretty well. And it's just a little bit daunting to just kind of leave yourself out there. I usually like to support my voice with a lot of leads and pick chunky rhythms, but didn't do it in this one, and I think it worked out pretty good. I do really love the solo. Just because it's tapping, but it's tapping with 2 notes instead of 3. So it's kind of like not really trilling, but it's that diddly effect with that. It makes it sound really cool, especially with the wah. So I really like that. I thought that was pretty cool. And my favorite part is actually the ending. I don't know, it goes kind of like hard rockish instead of metal, which I really like it. I always really like a good strong ending to a song. I think strong endings are underrated. So that's it. And also with the song Tears to Drown, I do feel like, I'm just throwing it out here now so I don't get called on it later, I usually hate it when bands redo riffs, but I actually still love that song Tears to Drown. I feel like if I can make it work, I will end up reusing that riff back in its original form maybe on the 3rd album or the 4th album, I don't know, but I probably will end up doing that because I do really love that song, and it makes me sad that I can't do it right now. So if I find a way to do it, I will reuse that riff. I usually hate it when bands do that, but I would do it in this case because I really do like it. Anyway, that's Heartfirst Overboard. And lyrically, the song is about making sure that you're open to taking a chance, even if there's a risk of failure or pain or loss or something like that. It's still important to, jump in with your heart sometimes. You can't always, just think with your head. Even though I do like thinking with my head, I am inherently a rational, calculating person, so I don't usually like just taking risk. But I think you have to accept sometimes that there's always some level of risk that you have to assume, and that it's worth it to take a chance. So that's what the song's about, and yeah, for one that didn't have much of a backstory, this took the longest time. So anyway, that's what it's about, and that's Heartfirst Overboard.